Welcome to our you.
Let's start with the building blocks, neurons. Imagine a bustling city with billions of tiny messengers delivering crucial information. Neurons use electrical and chemical signals to communicate. It's like a super-fast game of telephone, but with everything you see, hear, feel, and think. Each neuron has a cell body, dendrites, and a long axon. Dendrites receive signals, and if strong enough, the neuron fires an impulse. The signal jumps a gap to the next neuron. This gap is called a synapse. Let's zoom in on those synapses, the bustling intersections of our brain's network. An electrical signal triggers the release of neurotransmitters. These cross the synapse and bind to receptors like a lock and key. This can excite or inhibit the next neuron. Learning strengthens specific synaptic connections. It's like building a bridge between thoughts in injuries. Now let's talk about memory, that incredible ability to store and retrieve information. Our brains are constantly bombarded with sensory input, but only a fraction of that information gets encoded into memory. Short-term memory is like the RAM on your computer, holding on to small bits of information for a short period of time. Long-term memory, on the other hand, is like your hard drive, storing vast amounts of information for years, even decades. How does information make the leap from short-term to long-term memory? Through a process called consolidation. Emotional experiences, repetition, and active recall all play a role in strengthening these memories. Now, let's talk about the two hemispheres of the brain, those seemingly separate but deeply interconnected halves that make us who we are. You've probably heard the myth that left-brained people are logical and analytical, while right-brained people are creative and artistic. While the two hemispheres do specialize in certain functions, they work together in a beautifully coordinated dance. The left hemisphere is typically dominant in language processing, while the right hemisphere excels at spatial awareness. Even simple tasks like having a conversation or reading a book involve a complex interplay between both hemispheres. It's easy to think of the brain as an isolated command center, but it's in constant communication with your body. The brain sends signals down the spinal cord, controlling muscle movement, heart rate, and digestion. Sensory receptors send information back to the brain, keeping it updated on your body's status. This two-way communication is essential for homeostasis and experiencing the world through your senses. Our body systems are beautifully interconnected. And now, for the grand finale, the million-dollar question that has puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries. What is consciousness? Consciousness is one of the biggest mysteries in science, but we're making progress. We know that consciousness arises from the complex interplay of billions of neurons firing in intricate patterns. It involves multiple brain regions working together, from the thalamus to the prefrontal cortex. The exact mechanisms that weave these neural threads into the tapestry of our conscious experience remain elusive. The wonders of the mind.